I was reading a book, quietly. This whole JFK Jr. is going to show up at Mount Rushmore on July 4th and show us he's not dead. Rumor is getting out of hand. Tim Emsley is spreading it, and it was Michael Loveless that started it, I believe. It's always a day of opportunity when he puts out new information, or lies as I like to call it. Ivo, yes, my love. And the lightworkers generally are ignorant of how they are being manipulated. Including Emsley. I sense Emsley means well. He has good intentions. Loveless doesn't. But when you're in a position where many people follow you, like Emsley is, you have to have high standards. You can't just put out anything you hear to people because… well, I'll let you explain it, Ivo. Ivo, because this is a consciousness war between the truth and deception right now. You lightworkers are at the forefront of this war. There are sides that attempt to increase your light, such as Sharon and the Implant Communications team, and other channelers who spread love and light in their messages, who tell the truth. Then there are the rest who lie to get you to believe so that you will continue to live within the matrix system of lies, which of course was built on deception. The weapon of the dark is deception. The consequences for the lightworker could be grave. When lies are believed, this could stop them from returning home at the end of this lifetime. It could hold them up and keep them disempowered at the Matrix's hands. This also empowers the Matrix and the dark beings who run it and control your lives. Do not believe lies. I would love to know the names of these Pleiadians who love claims to be channeling. They don't seem to have been identified at all, have they? If you know who they are, can you please say so in the comments? Thank you. Ivo, you channel Pleiadians, but they have properly identified themselves and their roles in the liberation of planet Earth. I know. I look at his work and so much doesn't add up. Who would be talking to a group of people from whatever planet or system and never ask for a name or any personal information about them? I know I'm very curious about who I channel and ask them about their personal lives. I've read a book on Sharon, channeled by Elizabeth Trudwin, which gave me information on him and his one life here on Earth. And I might add, his only life here on Earth. He has no relatives here now and nobody on Earth is married to him, etc. etc. He's like Jesus. He loves the place but he doesn't want to spend a lot of time here. LOL. As far as JFK Jr. showing up, let's do a video on July 5, 2019 where we have a good laugh at this new attempt to poison the minds of lightworkers. Ivo, yes, it is sad. But when you believe lies, your ascension process is further stifled. And if you are on a positive timeline of truth and love, you will then be placed in a lower timeline where deception prevails. Sharon's advice to lightworkers is best, believe it when you see it. If in fact on July 5th, JFK Jr. to show up at Mount Rushmore, then you can believe it. What is the problem with waiting until the day to believe? The futurizing being done within your community has to do with the fact that so many are seers and can see the future. However, there are dark workers who use this to their advantage. You must look at any future predictions as rumors and expect that they be proven as accurate before you believe them. The same as any other type of information you may receive. It must be proven first. Why is futurizing so important within this community? It is a form of power that is being misused, as is normal on your planet, the misuse of any power. The lightworker community is no different from any other community on Earth, save for a few that adhere to high standards, high ethics, and the purpose at hand without using it for their own personal gain. People have tried to tempt Sharon into channeling for money and she refuses to. She understands that profit is its own motivation and she refuses to be motivated by anything but the truth as it is told to her. This type of integrity is rare on your planet. Do not believe that everyone on your planet has good intentions. You need to understand that your community is heavily, and I will stress heavily, infiltrated by the dark, be it in human form or other, and those who seek to channel are often sidelined by dark entities posing as the light. You do not have the luxury of believing everything you hear. When you believe false information, your ascension process will be curtailed, work must be done to clear it, and your timeline will change to a lower timeline. There is much effort being made to keep lightworkers from ascending to the 5th dimension. The dark has no control over you there, and the place they can accost you is in the 4th dimension, which is where most are now. So there is a heavy consciousness battle being engaged against you right now. There is no reason you cannot use skills of discernment if in fact you cannot sense energy. If you can sense energy, then it is easy to discern light from dark. If you cannot, you must be skeptical of everything you come in contact with and do not believe in any future predictions, as this can heavily change your life. It is important to know without doubt the intentions of the person who is reporting the information. Remember that all humans on Earth have egos. And for those who are reporting intel, it is an ego game to be the first one to come out with new intel. Q-drops are particularly popular because it is hot intel. People have built a name for themselves in this community by providing accurate intel. For any intel you come across, any channeler who reports on events, you must ask yourself whether the event in fact has come to fruition. And I might add that Michael Loveless is 0 for 0 so far. He hasn't reported anything that has actually been accurate. And there's a reason, because he's reporting disinformation. Ivo, the ego, is heavily involved in the process for money and being able to report intel. The ego, however, is not very discerning, only the soul knows the truth. So for those in a hurry to report intel immediately to their followers, without the necessary discernment, their reports are only about keeping themselves in the public eye and pandering to their own egos rather than actually doing a public service. To say that you got information from a particular person is shaky ground indeed. Humans are fallible, and lightworkers, all of you, are under constant pressure to absorb disinformation. Do not think for a minute that any one of you is exempt. Those who do intel videos or watch parties or reports as Emsily does, are heavily influenced to report disinformation. They must be exceedingly cautious as to what they supply. However, the ego is often the fish that bites the hook because the ego has its own agenda of remaining popular. The most ethical behavior is important in positions like this, and this is not being practiced by anyone that we can see reporting. Let the buyer beware. It is for that reason as well that little intel is given to you about the Alliance's efforts to rid your world of dark beings. If it is given at all, it should be after the fact, as Sharon reports. This may not make her popular, but she is more accurate because she is reporting on what has already occurred. When I do it. Ivo, occasionally we report. It is also important to remember that this process, although different from what you experience on Earth as physical beings, is still a logical process. Things do not happen willy-nilly, and it is all carried out as energies allow for success. As for JFK Jr. showing up at Mount Rushmore, are you looking for a savior? A handsome man of status within your country who is coming back from a supposed death to save you? Jesus is not coming this time, despite rumors to the contrary. He sent you instead. You are to be the saviors of your world, but when you believe in these lies, you are in effect taken out of action, as your expression goes. Yeah, like shot down in a way. Ivo, the more string the kitten plays with, the more entangled it becomes. When you play with fire, you get burned. The best thing to do is to know that all is well, all is love, your world will fare well in the end, and that you will be fine. Go through your ascension process, go through your energy blocks and leave your egos behind. More will come later, but that is later. Waiting for a savior keeps you from being your own savior. Look at the lies that have been perpetrated upon your planet and know that the dark uses these lies to continue to deceive you. And they have many shills working with them in your community. Thank you, Ivo. Ivo, my love, I await you in the astral. Can we have another one of those lucid dreams tonight, Ivo? LOL.